Hi, I'm John Veman. This week on Anyplace Wild, we walk the line between land and sea in Washington's Olympic National Park.
Can you play it?
I could try.
Okay, let's see it, honey.
Co-host Arlene Burns and her guests beachcomb up and down this northern Pacific coastline. It's a stretch of breathtaking scenery, teeming with wildlife, where everyone is part of the food chain. So come along as we walk the waves.
Anyplace Wild is brought to you in part by Chevy Tahoe, encouraging you to find your own little part of the planet. Destination Outdoors, makers of outdoor health and safety products, allowing you to experience the full enjoyment of your outdoor destination. And LL Bean, wherever your next adventure may take you, LL Bean can help you get there with a full selection of outdoor gear and apparel.
We're headed for one of the few undisturbed wilderness coastlines left in the lower 48. It straddles the jagged edge of Washington State in a cold Pacific Ocean. Our hike is peppered with unique formations and sheer rock cliffs. Thousands of years of pounding waves have sculpted huge sea stacks and uncovered remnants of an ancient people, as co-host Arlene Burns is about to discover.
I love to go beachcombing, and I love long hikes in the woods. This trip is the best of both worlds. Since 95% of Olympic National Park is designated wilderness, the only way to really experience it is on your feet.
What's it like in the winter in here?
Dripping wet. This is a nice place to come in the winter. Makes it a little bit more exotic.
It really is pretty.
In a given year, you could expect 160 inches of rainfall in parts of the park, making the boardwalk to the beach a real boot saver. Leading me down the trail on this trip are Lisa Eschenbach, a naturalist and educator with the Olympic Park Institute, and Bob Steelquist, author and educational coordinator of the Marine Sanctuary.
Oh, it's an amazing forest. This is like a little Tolkien forest. I guess we're the hobbits, huh?
Wow.
Starting to get into the hemlocks and the spruce.
Looks like we're coming to something up here.
We're getting close.
Ooh, and there's the sea.
There's
Yay.
Rosette Island out there.
It's really shining right now.
I can see it.
Ooh, hallelujah, there is the sea.
We are there.
Wow.
Wow.
The light reflecting off the water.
What we're looking at is the Olympic Coast National Marine Sanctuary. It's 3,300 square miles of protected ocean environment. About 25 miles out, the continental shelf breaks off, and that's the outer edge of the sanctuary.
So it's pretty shallow for 25 miles.
Yeah, it goes down to, well, the outer edge of the sanctuary is about 600 feet. So it is pretty shallow. It's a plateau that goes out there.
So this is the national park where we are now, and then the marine sanctuary behind it. How do you differentiate the two?
Well, the rocks that you're seeing down there are in both the park and the marine sanctuary.
Uh-huh.
So the high tide line is the upper boundary of the sanctuary. So the park and the marine sanctuary share the intertidal zone.
So is the ocean here pretty clean?
We're very fortunate here. We have a clean ocean. This is a very rich ecological system. The world ocean in general has pressures on it, and we see some of those pressures here. But relatively speaking, it's a very pristine environment. And then we're fortunate we've got this 48 miles of wilderness coast along here. I like to think that we got a sanctuary here just in time.
Beginning over 2,000 years ago, Native Americans lived along this stretch of beach. Their descendants were called the Makah by the earliest white settlers, but they called themselves Quidich-Chu-At, people who live on the Cape by the rocks and seagulls. Throughout their history, their backyard was this lush, dense spruce and cedar forest. Their front yard, the bountiful sea. Every year, the tribe harvests whales and sea otters, salmon and halibut. They found clams under the sand, crabs in the shallows, and mussels on the rocks. Yesterday's t-shirt gives way to this morning's fleece. This is the Pacific Northwest, after all.
See the harlequin ducks out here?
Ah, yeah, there's a couple of them. Are they common around here?
Yeah, their numbers have declined. I think it's interesting, though, that they breed way up in the mountain valleys. A lot of time in the overwintering, actually down here. It kind of points out the kind of ecological wholeness of the mountains and the ocean as critical habitats for various critters.
One ecosystem.
Yep.
Got an obstacle here, guys. Gotta go fast.
Scurry,
Get
scurry.
going. Quick, quick, quick. Ha! Well done, Bob. Wow, look at all these logs. Where'd they come from?
These drift up the coast pretty much. They come out of the river valleys and then spend years just bouncing up along the coastline.
So some of these might even be from California, or?
That could be, yeah, it's hard to tell, really.
Wow. It's like a maze here. They all got stuck.
Yeah, they all got stuck in this little pile here. They really play an important part in the beach because they're kind of like rebar. They hold the sand together, so an important structural part.
Careful, they move on you. Yeah, these can be dangerous.
They do. They're really hazardous.
So when the tide moves in, these things roll around in the sea?
That's why they say beach logs kill.
Beach logs kill?
Beach logs kill out here.
How do they kill you?
Well, when they reanimate in the water, they can run right over the top of you.
Huh. You wouldn't want to swim with them, in other words.
Exactly. These are amazing reminders. We're in somebody else's home here. Beautiful petroglyphs. This is a killer whale here. It's hard to say where, what people put these here. But the killer whale to the Makah people is the hunter of the sea, and the wolf is the hunter of land. And it's interesting that on the traditional canoes, the wolf is the bow, so to help them hunt in the sea. So this might have been something tied to that for good hunting.
It's really clear to me looking at these that these people really had a strong relationship with whales and a lot of familiarity with them.
The Makah hunted the huge gray whale in large dugout cedar canoes, thrusting, not throwing, a harpoon into the whale's shoulder. The whale would then drag a line of inflated seal bladders tethered to the harpoon until it was exhausted. Whaling was the center of their lives, shaping their technology and their spirituality. By the turn of the century, whaling ceased. Very little evidence of this seagoing culture survived beyond the stories of the tribal elders.
Hey, the water's
Nice
coming up,
detail.
guys. You better get out of here.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, let's get around the corner.
Yeah, we gotta go.
Well, the getting's good.
When the fog starts to lift, you never know what you might see next. Even Bob couldn't believe it. Just offshore, a sea otter provided a rare glimpse into its elusive, clam-cracking existence.
Look at him. He's breaking that clam against the rock that he's holding on his belly.
Wow.
That's incredible. You don't see him this close to people up here. They're usually a lot more wary. He's obviously really happy to be eating.
Wow.
He's not paying any attention to us at all.
So how is he doing that? He's got something set on his back?
Yeah, he's got a little rock he's using like an anvil on his stomach. When he dives, he'll actually fold a paw over it and go under, get another clam down there. And then he lays there and he's bashing it with both paws. And then he'll try and nibble it out from the shells as soon as he's got it.
Is that what he's doing? He sucks like when he brings it up to his mouth?
Yeah, he's cleaning it out, chewing it out with his teeth.
That's
and then as soon as he's got a nibble, he drops the shell.
This is the first time in my life I've ever seen this.
We're really lucky to see this. This is not something most hikers see.
We'll have to keep our eyes peeled.
Yeah.
Let's keep our eyes open because
We might see
I think
more.
we're going to see more of them up a little further.
Yeah.
Good.
Hey, check this one out. It's like the green dreadlocks. You know what kind that is?
That's the sponge kelp. That's a nice one.
That is beautiful.
There are lots of different varieties around here.
Yeah, actually, here, this is one of the most important ones right here.
Yeah. Here, I'll leave that one.
This is bull kelp.
Look at this, like a big
It's like a bull
snake
whip,
thing.
right? It actually grows from this and it attaches to a rock so it anchors itself.
So how deep down? Does this want to be on the surface?
This wants to be on the surface, so this whole tube, or it's called actually the stipe, is hollow. And then the bulb, and then these are the blades up here.
It's actually carbon monoxide in here that keeps it floating.
Oh, did you hear it?
Yeah. And all that gooze that's kind of along the side, that gel, it's actually really good for wounds and also for suntan.
On the
burns.
south side?
Right in the middle here. You can play these.
Yeah.
And people used to play them out here.
Can you play it?
I could try.
Okay, let's see it, honey. Which end do you put? Oh, you cut a hole somewhere
I
else?
gotta get another hole down here.
Yeah.
I haven't played much.
Hey, that's
Very
pretty
good.
good.
Arlene?
Nice.
I never knew how to play any of these kind of blowing instruments.
That's pretty neat. These, you got a ways to go. Work on the lips.
What do you do with your lips?
Gotta be
It's
real
getting
tight.
slimy,
real tight.
man. I think I'm a failure at this one. Now that elk are gonna come running down the beach. The blue kelp elk.
People have made
that's neat.
pickles out of these.
Can you eat them?
Yeah, it's edible. So they soak them in a brine, pickle them. The other thing, these are real important. Northwest coastal Indians use this really as a place for storing seal oil.
Oh, I can
So
see it could be great.
it's like a little bottle.
Ah.
Put a stopper at one end and then
Like a
store
gourd.
oil. Yeah, exactly.
Shall we blow this joint? This is easier.
Yeah, this is the way to travel.
Do you think we can get through down here? Without getting our feet wet?
Yeah, we'll have to take a look. I think we'll make it. Tide keeps going out.
What did she do? Just straight down here?
Yeah, this is a little,
Maybe around this way.
yeah.
The sanctuary is twice the size of Yosemite and has some of the largest seabird colonies in the lower 48. Over 28 species of porpoises, whales, and dolphins are found in these waters, but where I like to poke around is in the tide pools.
This rockweed is so lush.
The tide pools are where you want to master the art of looking closely. Every change of tide paints a new picture of life in the intertidal zone.
So what are we looking for?
We're just going to look for all these amazing critters. And the key to finding them is to just kind of stay still and get down low. A lot of critters are used to trying to avoid predation by birds, and so they'll stay still. And if you sit here for a while, all of a sudden things start to come alive and move. But if they're looking at your shadow, they'll oftentimes freeze. I think the most amazing thing about being out here is that you're actually walking on the ocean floor. I mean, this would be covered by 6 or 7 feet of water.
In how many hours?
In 6 hours. Every tide will change in 6 hours.
You wouldn't want to get caught out here, would you?
No, you got to be careful. Definitely. I love Rachel Carson's quote that we know more about outer space than we do about our own oceans, even though 3/4 of the planet are covered with ocean. Some great stuff through here.
Hey, check this guy out.
Oh, nice. That sea star's eating. You see how he's up like that? These guys are the wolves of the ocean out here. They'll eat anything out here. And then right underneath here, there's a mussel shell. Wow. And what they do is they'll actually take their stomach, they'll put it into what they're eating. They'll eat, and then they'll pull their stomach back in again.
So his stomach's outside of his body?
Yeah, they don't have very good table manners.
Wow. So how long can he be out of the water? Can they breathe air?
These guys can survive out of the water for some time, but they're more sensitive to being dried out than a lot of these other critters. So this is a little bit higher. I mean, I know this is a subtle difference here, but these guys are going to have a hard time moving all the way up onto the top where you're standing. So that's why there's less stuff down low than there is sometimes in those higher zones. Even though there's a lot of water, there's a lot of food down there, there's more competition.
Can you touch him?
Yeah, it's fine to touch. You just want to be gentle about it. But you can feel that hard outer shell there. Really, it's a skeleton.
Wow.
Yeah?
It's really hard.
Yeah.
I thought it would be a lot softer.
Yeah, no, they have an exoskeleton there that keeps them stiff. So that's part of why they look dead a lot of times to people, because they've got that stiff outer skeleton, really.
I knew a guy like that once.
Like,
Stiff outer skeleton.
stiff outer skeleton.
Hey, look at these guys.
Yeah, those are the anemones over here. See that green color in them? That comes from an algae that lives inside them. Sometimes you'll see them growing underneath a rock and they'll be all white. So that algae will give them a little bit of sugar, a little bit of food, and they'll have a place to live. So it's a great symbiotic relationship. So some of these anemones are several hundred years old.
Really?
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, you wouldn't know it to look at them, but they can get to be quite old. Yeah, and they look like they're from outer space.
So do they just sit here waiting for something to happen by?
Yeah, I mean, they can't go after their food. They're just waiting for the tides to bring in dinner. And a lot of these critters are doing that. They're just waiting for the tide to bring them dinner.
Can you touch them?
Yeah, you can just, gently put your finger in on the side.
Hey, guy. My name's Arlene.
Wow, look at that, huh? They're going after you. These guys are carnivores. I mean, they look like they're from outer space.
Wow, he's really got a hold on me.
Yeah? He's got you?
Yeah.
He's trying to send neurotoxins into you, but fortunately your skin won't accept them.
Okay. Come on.
Is he really not letting go?
No.
They don't
Look
like
at this
humans,
guy.
I believe.
Come on. I'm just kidding. Wow. Okay, now what? You've been holding on out of me. What do I do?
You can't.
Oh,
you
here
can't-
you, here you.
got it?
Here he comes.
Just slow.
Just slowly. Come on. Let go, let go.
Got your finger?
Yes.
Everything there? You lost
Look
some.
what happened. I'm just glad they're not like 40 feet tall.
You don't want to get caught down here by a rising tide. It's time for us to make tracks for higher ground.
We may have to wait out the tide.
Yeah, there's a trail here.
Okay,
We are not the first.
perfect.
She's found the trail.
It was in 1970, along this stretch of coast, that any lingering doubts about the Makah way of life were swept away by a fierce winter storm. Monstrous waves pounded the shore, revealing traces of the Makah village of Ozette, which had been buried under a mudslide some 500 years earlier. This prompted a full-scale archaeological excavation, which lasted for a decade, and uncovered 50,000 artifacts, some dating back 1,000 years. For generations, the Makah elders told stories of cedar bark basket weavings, intricately carved combs, and mussel shell harpoon points, and suddenly here they were, brought to life for the tribe, thus confirming the traditions of their forefathers.
This is a little slippery here. Be careful.
Okay, did you hear that, Bob?
Yeah. Thanks.
Yep. A little bit of algae.
What goes up must come down. Hey, check out this sign. Is this the Olympic Park version of a stop sign?
No, these red and black signs are all up and down the coast, and they mark the overland trails.
And it says impassable. Is that just at high tide, or it's low now?
Well, even if you've got your tide table with you, when it says that it's impassable, you don't want to mess with it.
Ah, and there's a rope and a trail. This rope's okay to pull on, you reckon?
Well, give it a tug just to test it, and then just use it for balance.
All right.
It's a gorgeous view from here. Whew.
These last several days of being immersed in the wilderness, to me, is just such a treasure. I feel so invigorated, and I think it's a rare thing to have such a pristine place, ocean and sky and air. Everything seems so clean here.
Well, it is really important, and it is rather unusual. We've got a national park on one side protecting the wilderness area, and we've got a national marine sanctuary on the other protecting a very unique marine environment. It is a very, very important place.
Yeah, there are not that many places where species have been able to bounce back. Like, it's really special. So thanks for giving us a chance to show you some of the magic out here.
Some of the magic?
Well, I think to get all of the magic, you'd have to live out here for generation after generation like the Makah.
We still have a little magic ahead of us, too.
To learn more about Anyplace Wild and the great outdoors, check out PBS online at pbs.org. Anyplace Wild is brought to you in part by Chevy Tahoe, encouraging you to find your own little part of the planet. Destination Outdoors, makers of outdoor health and safety products, allowing you to experience the full enjoyment of your outdoor destination. And LL Bean, wherever your next adventure may take you, LL Bean can help you get there with a full selection of outdoor gear and apparel.
This is PBS.